A long time ago, in a kitchen far, far away, the great gastronomical empires called a gathering of the invincible powers. The Hungarian group took on the enormous mission. Their goal was nothing less than to win victory in Europe. After a long struggle, with Captain Tamás's direction, Sabina, Kevin, and Frigyes relentlessly outcooked the great powers. Their victory resounds throughout the whole galaxy. Only the lucky, chosen few knew of their award-winning sturgeon and venison calf recipes. Finally, the moment has come for the new masters to reveal their secrets. First, let's look at the elements for preparation of the fish plate. The first step is to prepare the fish. Slice off the back of the sturgeon, head to tail, with one smooth stroke. Then slice both sides of the spine to take out the fillets. Remove the skin from the fillets and scrape off the fat layer between the skin and the meat. In thick plastic wrap or a freezer bag, lightly tenderize the meat to flatten it a bit. Put the fillets to rest in a 10% salt solution for 10 minutes. When time's up, line up the fillets on a kitchen towel and let them rest for the remaining time, rolled in the dry cloth. Now we can prepare the lobster filling.
A finomra vágott salottahagymát rengeteg vajjal, alacsony fokozaton, szép, hosszú idő alatt megkonfitáljuk.
When the onions are done, drain them and place them on paper towels to remove as much of the butter as we can. In a very hot pan, with a little olive oil, we just lightly sear the lobster. After the outside is seared, we cut it into rough chunks. Now we'll prepare the sturgeon mousseline. Chop the sturgeon meat into fine chunks, and in a kitchen food processor, we chop it finer. Then salt it and slowly add the cream. Process it until we get a nice, even pureed fish cream. When that's all done, we can put together the fillings. In with an onion confit, we put some minced chervil and thyme. Grate in some lemon peel. Put in a little dried black garlic powder. Pile the lobster chunks onto it and the homogeneous black mousseline. Finally, we sprinkle on a bit of charcoal dust and mix all of it well so we get an evenly black filling. The sturgeon fillets in the cloth should be completely dry and sticky and a bit salty. And this is how we put the rolls together. On the skin side of each fillet, we spread the lobster filling just like we're making cinnamon buns. We roll them up, then wrap them in plastic. Puncture the rolls with a pin in a few places so the air can get out. In a sous vide bath, heat them for 25 to 30 minutes in a 57 degrees Celsius water until they reach 50 degrees Celsius core temperature.
Most pedig elkészítem a halhoz a kagylóvelutét. Ehhez jöhet egy kis fekete és vongole-kagyló lé.
We stir the clam stock together with cream and warm it at a temperature of 85 degrees Celsius. It's important not to heat it to boiling. When it reaches 85 degrees, we add cold butter and then xanthan gum, blending it until we get a sufficiently creamy and foamy consistency. When it's done, we set it aside until serving.
A füstölt szalonnát kockákra vágjuk.
Our first step is to prepare the ingredients of the croquette.
Szent Jakab kagylót kockákra vágom.
Into the scallops, we mince a little dried red algae and a bunch of chervil.
És most egy kis muszelin. a kecsegéből. Alaposan elkeverem.
We press the prepared mix into half-ball-shaped forms. Take care that the mix has no air in it or bubbles. We put it in the freezer to freeze it slightly. At a temperature of between 0 and 5 degrees, this takes about 35 to 40 minutes. When the scallop croquette base is sufficiently frozen, but still workable, we take a sharp knife and clean up the upper surface. Now, put the half balls we've created into plastic wrap and squeeze them into full ball shapes. Roll the uniform croquette balls first in fine breadcrumbs, then egg whites, finally in the coarse breadcrumbs, and set them aside for serving. The first step for the mayonnaise is to open the oysters and pile them into a dish along with all their juice. Simultaneously, we prepare the chervil oil in a thermomixer. We puree it with grapeseed oil for 30 minutes, then place the rough pulp in a cheesecloth and allow the green oil to drip on its own. The oil we get is what we use for the mayonnaise.
Leszűröm az osztriga vizet, megy hozzá egy kis turbolyaolaj, egy kis szőlőmegolaj, só, pálcsa citromlé, egy kis xantán, és jöhet a turmix.
All we have to do is put all the ingredients in a hand blender and mix it until it gets the consistency of mayonnaise. Fill a couple of sauce bottles with the finished mayonnaise and set it aside until serving.
Az uborka körethez a paradicsom vizet fölforraljuk. Forralás előtt legkevesebb 20 perccel gellánt rakunk bele, ez fogja majd a zselét elkészíteni. Ha felforrt a paradicsomvíz, 1 percig forraljuk.
When the minute is up, immediately strain the tomato water and put it in the fridge. The cold will affect the gelatin so it solidifies into a block we can slice. While the gelatin sets, we use a special tube-shaped coring tool to get pencil-thin cucumber pieces. Put these little sticks in cucumber juice and vacuum marinate them. For the special cucumber salad, we need green herb leaves. We soak the wild parsley, coriander, thyme, dill, and fennel in ice water so they are crispy. With the help of the slicer, we cut the now solidified tomato water into paper-thin leaves. Spread these out and cut into a 6 by 10 centimeter brick shape. After this, we arrange the herb leaves evenly across the surface. Onto the gelatin, we place the marinated cucumber rods, which have been cut into 5.5 centimeter lengths. We roll them up like little cigars. Place them in the fridge until serving. Cook the mustard seeds in fresh water for 30 minutes. The secret is to change the water at least 3 times while cooking. This dulls the bitterness of the mustard seeds. When done, we pour on some lemon oil and set it aside. For the beet ravioli, we'll cut 1/2 millimeter slices from yellow beets that were cooked in a 160°C oven for 45 minutes. We cut the thin slices out with a round cutter 5 centimeters in diameter.
Hozzákezdek a sárga cékla raviolihoz, amiben egy kis sózott citrommal és sarkantyú levéllel ízesített rákot töltök.
Pile the finished stuffing on the beet slices and pinch them together from 3 directions, so we form small raviolis. Place them on a pan and put them in the fridge until serving. We slice the celery into a long strip with a special Japanese slicing machine. Then lay out and cut the strip into 20-centimeter long leaves. Vacuum pack the leaves with a little ascorbic acid liquid. We steam the sealed bag in a 100°C combination steamer oven for 7 minutes. When it softens, we cut thin strips from the leaves with a form. Then roll each one up.
Az Eller szalagot egy kis gyűrűbe beletekergetem.
The full length of the celery strips need to be unrolled into the inside of the metal forms, which were rubbed with brown butter. When that's done, we're ready for the next step. In a hot pan, sear the oysters in smoking olive oil for a few minutes, salting them and then seasoning them with dill. Place them on a kitchen cloth to take all the liquid out.
Az osztig a leghúsosabb részét kiszúróval kiszúrjuk, és papírra tesszük, hogy a felesleges nedvesség leitatódjon róla.
When we've finished with the oysters, we put a small disc of celery at the bottom of the ring, then place the oyster on it. We make celery discs for the top of the ring forms. We have placed slices of thin tomato water gelatin on the celery leaves and cut discs out of them together. These discs we put away until serving.
A gyöngyhagymát és a lilahagymát megsavanyítjuk, ehhez a gyöngyhagymát félbevágjuk. A forrásban lévő ecetes marinádba rakjuk a hagymát, a lilahagymát is a forrásban lévő marinádba rakjuk. Ha fölforrt, azonnal kijöntjük egy műanyagtálba, lefóliázzuk és hagyjuk kihűlni a hűtőben.
Same for the purple onions. Pour them out, cover them with plastic, and cool them in the fridge to marinate further. While that cools, we cut discs from thin pastry sheets with a 6-centimeter diameter form cutter. Place these in grapeseed oil, then using 2 forms, press them into a mini brioche shape. Prick them so there's no air between the leaves, then continue layering the leaves and forms for the rest on top of each other. When they've all been pressed together, we put them in 180°C peanut oil and start frying them, pressing all the forms together firmly. When they've taken the mini brioche shape, we fry them until they reach a nice golden color. While they're still hot, lightly salt them. Then begin preparations for the cauliflower. Cook the whole cauliflower in buttered milk until soft. In the Thermomix, we salt it and flavor it with lemon juice and horseradish. Then we puree it. Peel apart the pearl onion leaves. We cut discs from the marinated purple onion leaves and set them aside until serving. We slice the Jerusalem artichokes thin, then vacuum pack them in grapeseed oil and salt.
A csicsóka chipshez az aprított csicsókát 100 fokos gőzbe 45 percre betesszük a kombipárolóba.
When they're done, we use a hand mixer to puree them into an even consistency, then let it cool. When it's completely cooled, we can start working on them. We press the puree into a 2-millimeter plastic form on a heat-proof silicone sheet. The special tiny branch form has been laser cut. We smooth the puree into the form with a trowel and a window squeegee. Following this, we lift the form off the silicone sheet and dry the branch shapes on the sheet in a 90°C dry oven for 120 minutes. When the Jerusalem artichoke branches are dry, we fry them in 170°C peanut oil until they are all golden brown. While hot and still flexible, we place the branch forms on a metal tube and bend the chips. When they're done, let them rest on a paper towel until serving. Carve little half-centimeter pearls from the cauliflower stem. Then take cauliflower roses off the head of about the same size. Put them in lemon, salt water, and boil them for 20 minutes in all. Then we put them in peanut oil to marinate. We slice the potatoes thin, then chop up the leeks. In the Thermomix, we puree them with a little milk and salt at medium setting at 90 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. When the 30 minutes are up, we add butter and a portion of minced chervil and parsley. Finish pureeing at max setting for 5 more minutes. Fill an Easy Soda siphon with the sauce produced and screw on 2 chargers. Finally, put it into a 57 degrees Celsius water bath to keep it warm. As soon as the last preparations are done, we can start to serve. The Bocuse d'Or regulations require serving a fish meal of 14 dishes. Our first step is to set 1 green herb-infused cucumber salad roll in each plate. Then we brush the yellow beet ravioli with mustard seed lemon oil and place it like so, beside the cucumber roll. The next element to prepare is the toasted oyster celery. We spread a little red algae grapeseed oil on the discs covered in tomato water gelatin, then place them on a sour cream celery ring stuffed with oyster. Put 1 piece on every plate. When these are placed, we squeeze out a little of the Chevreul mayonnaise from the bottles. This will hold the next element in place, the crunchy cauliflower torte. Into the deep-fried pastry baskets, we squeeze out a portion of cauliflower puree. Then put a disc of marinated purple onion and 1 leaf of the pearl onion next to each. We pile on a little caviar, then decorate with a mini cucumber and nasturtium leaf. This is how it goes on the plate. With pinchers, place the marinated cauliflower stock balls dusted in truffle crumbs on the plate. Then place the cauliflower roses. The next step is placing a few green herbs as decoration on the cucumber salad roll and the top of the celery. Meanwhile, take the sturgeon rolls out of the 57 degrees Celsius water bath. In a pan with a little brown butter, roast their outsides evenly with a hand torch. After they've gotten a crispy layer on all sides, we cut uniform slices from them. These we brush with the lightly salty, brown butter-soaked pickled ramsons, then place them like this on the plate. After this comes the Jerusalem artichoke chips. Wedge the ends of the crispy form under the cucumber rolls. We deep fry the breaded scallop croquette balls in 170 degrees Celsius peanut oil until golden brown. As soon as they're done, while still hot, we halve them with a sharp knife. For these, each plate gets 1/2 ball. After the croquettes, come the leek potato foam with chervil oil in the warmed siphon, which we portion out in globe-shaped silver cups, then sprinkle with a little chervil oil. This is presented as a side dish beside the fish platter. The last element is the bubbly clam velouté, kept warm at 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. Once again, we make it thoroughly foamy, then spoon it on beside the sturgeon. Tomasz Sale and his crew have completed the Bocuse d'Or meal with their fish platter, which has the following elements: sturgeon with lobster and pickled ramson and glazed with brown butter. crispy scallop croquette. Cherville oyster mayonnaise, marinated cauliflower, Jerusalem artichoke chips, cucumber salad. Bubbly clam velouté, yellow beet ravioli stuffed with lobster. Crispy cauliflower torte, decorated with pickled onions and sturgeon caviar. Celery stuffed with toasted oyster. And potato foam, served in a silver cup.